Good day, dear friends. Welcome to another episode of the Culinary Masterclass supported by la Fondation pour la Formation Hôtelière. Today we are going to Italy. Through the kitchen we will go to the famous city of Bologna and we will prepare the famous Bolognese sauce. As with all dishes, there are several recipes for this dish, i.e. this sauce, which can differ in one or more ingredients. Today we will try to prepare Bolognese according to one, I would say basic recipe, but again, the kitchen is like a living organism and is constantly evolving. So in every town or home, on every street, someone will add or omit an ingredient from the Bolognese sauce depending on what they have in their fridge at home, and that is how many variations and similar recipes for this sauce were created. Basically, according to this recipe that we are preparing today, the basic ingredients are red onion, carrot, celery, ground beef from the front half of the half, although in some recipes they use half pork and half beef, olive oil, tomato puree, meat stock and spices. We will use sprigs of fresh basil, sprigs of fresh parsley, and if you want, you can also use fresh or dried oregano. Try several different options, and after a few cooking sessions, you will know which seasoning suits you best. In Italy, they always use salad celery, i.e. the stalk of celery, to prepare this sauce, but today I was unable to find it in the store, although it can often be found, so I will use celery root in the recipe. Let's start with the preparation. We will turn on our heating element to slowly start heating our pot, and in the meantime we will chop the red onion into cubes, and after the red onion, we will also chop the rest of the vegetables into small cubes. The professional name for vegetables chopped like this into small cubes is brunoise. If you don't have enough time or you simply don't want to chop vegetables this way, I would then recommend you to get one of those kitchen devices, some kind of chopper, that will chop your vegetables very quickly. Kitchen appliances were invented to make work in the kitchen easier, especially for those with a lack of time or experience. If you have enough time, I would still recommend you to chop vegetables. Maybe you will do it slowly at first, but persevere, chop and practice, and with practice you will get better and faster in the process. We chopped the onion, celery, and now we will chop the carrot. You see, first we cut the carrot on one side so that it doesn't turn and run away from us, and then we cut the carrot into strips, then those strips into noodles, and then those noodles into small cubes. There is a bit of work technique here and the process is a bit lengthy and slow, but if we want to do something quality, then we need to follow some rules and work systems. We need to practice and work, and we will see that nothing is impossible or really difficult, we just need to make an effort. When I worked in hotel kitchens and we prepared Bolognese sauce for a large number of people, from 300, 400 or 500 people, then we really didn't have enough time to chop all the vegetables like this, and then we used some kitchen devices like choppers to speed up the process. If we didn't have choppers in the kitchen, then after grinding the meat, we also grinded the necessary vegetables in the same machine. Of course, we used all the juices that would have leaked from the onions, carrots and celery with the vegetables in the preparation of the sauce. I'm emphasizing this so that you know if you need to prepare a large amount of sauce and you can't fit everything in the chopsticks, then use a grinder and prepare the vegetables for the sauce in this way. Grind the vegetables, collect the juices and vegetables and use further in the recipe. The pot has heated up, add olive oil to the heated pot and then immediately add the chopped vegetables. In this way, we immediately start frying vegetables. We take a wooden stove and stir the vegetables so that they are fried evenly on all sides, add 1 or 2 bay leaves so that they start releasing their aroma immediately. I will immediately add a sprig of basil and parsley to release their aromas. The vegetables have already started to brown slightly and now we will add the minced meat. When we add the minced meat, it is very important that we constantly mix and press the meat in the beginning so that there are no big lumps, but we want the meat to be loose. That's why it's really necessary to constantly stir it, press it so that it is completely loosened and fried equally from all sides, and now at this moment we must not add any liquid until the meat is loose. If we were to add stock or tomato sauce now, then larger lumps of meat would form from the meat and our sauce would not be of excellent quality. During this frying, the meat will begin to release its juices and then the meat will begin to stew in its own juices. Then we will add a marinade of finely chopped garlic. We need to mix the meat until it becomes loose and then we will only stir it occasionally. When the meat is loose and fried, then add the tomato puree. The meat has released its juices and is now slowly simmering in the liquid from its own juices. When this liquid evaporates, the meat will be completely loose and then we will add the tomato puree. Now it's time to add the tomato puree. People ask me what the difference is between tomato puree and tomato sauce. Tomato puree is thick, like jam or marmalade. It is tomato concentrate and tomato sauce is in a liquid state like thick juice and is usually in a Tetra Pak or bottle and is poured into individual dishes. Now we will add the marinade. Fry the tomato puree for a few minutes. And here you can already feel these wonderful smells and aromas of vegetables, meat, tomato puree, marinade. It smells really nice. We will now add spices, a little salt, ground pepper and a little sugar. We add sugar to soften the acidity of the tomato puree that we added to the sauce. We only add a little because we don't want the sauce to be too sweet. We have fried all this nicely and now there are two options, and you decide which one you think is better and easier. The first option is to immediately add 1 to 2 tablespoons of flour to the meat and vegetables, stir to fry a little and pour hot stock or water. If you do this, you will have to stir the Bolognese sauce very often because there is a high possibility that the sauce will thicken a little due to the addition of flour, so you will have to stir it a lot. Another option is to not add the flour now, but to pour the meat and vegetables with hot stock or hot water, stir, and leave to stew at a lower temperature. When the meat and vegetables are ready, you will add the so-called paste, mixed flour and water, to just bind the sauce a little so that it is not watery. I will work with this second option because it is easier to prepare and the taste will be almost the same as for the first option. Here, we will add hot meat stock. It is a veal stock that I prepared from veal trimmings, bones and root vegetables. You can also prepare the stock a few days in advance and keep it in the refrigerator or freezer and then use it when you need it. You can also freeze the stock in those ice cubes, and then when you need a smaller amount of stock to prepare a dish or sauce, you just take a few cubes of that stock and improve the taste of your dish. Now pour the stock and simmer for about 30 minutes at a medium temperature. When it is ready, we will add flour and water, adjust the thickness and taste by adding spices and our sauce will be ready. Dear friends, after 30 minutes of stewing, our sauce is almost ready. Now we will take out those sprigs of basil and parsley so they don't bother us, and we will adjust the taste and thickness of our sauce. I have already emphasized that if we had added the flour before adding the stock, then it would have been necessary to stir the sauce a lot to prevent it from burning. Since it is necessary for the sauce to have a nice thickness and structure, so that it is not watery, we will now add a mixture of flour and water to achieve the thickness of the sauce we need. In this bowl, I will mix about 1 deciliter of water and 2 spoons of flour. Mix well so that there are as few lumps as possible. But again it will be necessary to strain it through a fine sieve while adding it to the sauce. When we add flour and water to the sauce, we have to mix at the same time so that there are no lumps in the sauce. We add a minimal amount of flour because we want the sauce to have its natural thickness from the vegetables and meat we added, and the flour should only be a link so that the sauce is not watery, but should be of such thickness that it stays on the pasta when we add it. When we prepare the flour and water, it must not be too thick because then lumps will form. It is better if the mixture is a little thinner when we add it to the sauce. With gentle stirring, we will simmer the sauce so that we lose the taste of flour and, if necessary, add some spices to adjust the taste. I repeat again, when we mix, we scrape from the bottom of the surface of the pan so that layer of food doesn't burn. So by mixing we remove the food from the bottom of the pan so that it doesn't burn. After adding the mixture of water and flour, we must stir regularly and simmer for at least 15 minutes so that the taste of flour is lost and the sauce gets the appropriate thickness. Now we will try to see if we need to add some more spices. It's not that I made it, but it's really tasty and nice, but I'll add a little more salt, to make it a little more spicy, because when we add it to the pasta, it will be abundantly less salty, so all those flavors will come together. If you want, add a little chili or some spices you like, adjust the taste to your liking. The sauce can be a little thicker or a little thinner depending on what you are making. If you are going to make cannelloni, then you need a slightly thicker sauce. If you are going to make spaghetti, then you can prepare a sauce like this. If you want a lasagna sauce, then it can be a little thinner. You can also fill pancakes with this sauce. I would then add a little bechamel sauce and a little grated cheese to the pancakes, wrap them and fry them in the Viennese way, flour, eggs, breadcrumbs, and that would really be a superb dish then, whether you use it as a hot appetizer or a main course. So depending on what dish you will prepare from this sauce, then you decide what thickness the sauce will be. There are really many variations of dishes in which you can use this sauce. We will now turn off the heating element, we will leave the Bolognese to cool, and then we will make either lasagna, maybe ravioli, or maybe even those pancakes that I mentioned. I believe that you have all had the opportunity to eat or prepare this sauce by now. But here I have shown you this simple method of preparation, and now you know about some secrets or details that you may not have known before. Enjoy the kitchen, prepare new dishes and create new recipes. Until a new video, goodbye.